Today on Oz, your biggest health questions answered by Dr. Andrew Weil.
I have a lot of information to give that's very helpful. Bring them on.
From battling joint pain to kicking a hangover,
Here are my 2 favorite remedies.
nothing is off limits. Plus, new cancer warnings about red meat.
This research is pretty provocative.
How you can still enjoy it without increasing your cancer risk. Coming up next on Dr. Oz.
Thank you very much. All right, today I am turning my show over to you, my viewers. It's all yours. I want to answer your biggest health questions, so I am putting the cards in your hands. And I'm prepared for anything, but I want to up the ante if you guys are all up for it. So I'm adding a Weil card, specifically America's #1 integrative doctor, Dr. Andy Weil, is going to help me. Andy, come on out. They do love you. They do love you. Thanks for being here. Actually, you wanted to do this show. Andy loves answering questions from real people. Why are you so passionate about this?
You know, many people don't get to ask their doctors questions, and I have a lot of information to give that's very helpful, so bring them on.
You ready to go?
Yep.
Here's how we're going to do this. Dr. Weil is going to play with a no limits rule. You ask anything you want. He's here to answer them. We've got questions coming in from home videos, Facebook, our studio audience. You guys will be surprised a little bit as well. Anyone's could be picked. Are you ready for the first card?
Yeah.
All right, take it away. Here's the first one.
My name is Rita, and I have a question for you. Sometimes I suffer from some achy joints, usually in my hands or in my feet, although occasionally in my knees. I don't want to have to rely on ibuprofen because it upsets my stomach. Can you recommend some natural alternatives that can alleviate my joint pain?
I love these questions. What can someone do if they've got pain issues, but they don't want to take over-the-counter medications?
Well, here are my 2 favorite natural remedies, ginger and a close relative, turmeric, the yellow spice that makes curry powder yellow and American mustard yellow. These are potent natural anti-inflammatory agents. And a great way to use them is to make this delicious golden milk. Take your favorite milk. I've used coconut milk here. Grate some fresh ginger and some fresh turmeric, which is easier and easier to get. And you simmer them until the milk has a nice color, strain it, drink it.
It is perfectly named, golden milk. I love it. And it has a richness that goes along with it.
It's delicious.
Do you recommend this to your patients if they've got pain issues?
Absolutely. I recommend that they get ginger and turmeric, especially turmeric, into them every day if they can.
Golden milk.
Golden milk.
All right, the next question is actually coming from an audience member. You don't know who you are yet. Camera, pan around. Let's look back here. It is, who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be? Is any victim smile? Oh. Come on down, come join us. Over here. How are you?
I'm good. Can I give you a hug?
Yes, give me a hug. What's your name?
I'm Deneen.
Deneen, he is all yours. Ask away,
nice
Deneen.
to see you.
My question is, I get very easily stressed. I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
I'm a special ed teacher.
Yep.
And I get stressed and I don't know how to let it go. So is there any holistic ways I can deal with stress?
You know, stress comes from the Latin word that means strict or tight. And we have tightness throughout our bodies, including our hands. And hands are a great way to access the whole system. So this is a simple technique from
I want you all to do this. You have to do it,
Yeah, you
obviously.
should all do this. Very easy.
Everyone just take your hand. Everyone take their left hand.
Left
We're not
hand.
punching each other by mistake.
And begin by massaging the area between your thumb and index finger with your right thumb. Do it really firmly, just for a few seconds. Then begin with each finger. Sort of work it up toward the fingertip, kind of rolling and pressing like that. Do each finger. Then rub the palm really firmly. Do like little circles around the palm.
It's a little
firmly.
uncomfortable, I guess.
Yeah, it should hurt a little bit. Then
Takes your mind off the stress.
clench your fist for 10 seconds. Hold there for 10 seconds. Then extend your hand and open it that way for 10 seconds.
Okay.
And then shake the hand and take some deep, slow breaths. So you do that on that hand, then this hand, and then shake both hands and do some deep, slow breaths. Takes, a couple minutes. It's a good de-stressing technique.
Great. I will definitely try it.
All right.
It's like self-acupressure. It can't beat the price.
Can't beat it. I will definitely try it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much, Janine. Next question is coming on Facebook. It's coming from Kelsey, who says, sometimes I get diarrhea. She's very honest with this question. Not only is it inconvenient, but also it's embarrassing. She wants to know, is there anything I can do to prevent it. So come back for a second.
Sure.
This is a common question, and obviously you can have that for two reasons: the things you can do to prevent it, and things you can do once you have it. So if you actually have that problem, what should you eliminate to help you?
You want to eliminate common GI irritants, and big ones are caffeine in all of its forms. So that's coffee, tea, chocolate, energy drinks, all of that stuff. Second thing would be dairy products, milk, and all milk products. That includes yogurt, cheese, all of it. And a third one, artificial sweeteners, which can be very irritating to the gut.
Artificial sweeteners?
Yeah.
All the different ones? Or?
Yes, which are not good for other reasons, as we know, but they can be gut irritants.
Yeah, and they cause gas and they cause as well.
Yep.
It's interesting because a lot of folks don't think about these three things, which you put in the stomach for a reason. We don't want these in your stomach, and they do cause irritation.
So experiment with eliminating those and see what happens.
You won't notice unless you pay attention to it. You get up in the morning, you don't feel quite right, you get the runs.
Yep.
Maybe because you had a little too much of one of those items. All right, now let's say it's too late. You already have the problem. What do you prescribe?
Well, here is a very safe, effective home remedy. It relies on carob powder. Carob you can get in most natural food stores. It's from a tree native to India. Was used as a chocolate substitute. You mix a tablespoon of carob powder with about a half cup of applesauce. Add some sweetener. We have honey here to taste. Eat that. It is a wonderful soother of the gut.
You just eat it like this? You don't
just
put it in
eat it. No, it tastes fine.
It's pretty good, actually.
Pretty good. Yeah.
What if you're not having diarrhea? Does it still help? You can still use it. That's actually, I would eat it normally. All right, another question from a member of our audience. The camera's going to pan around. Everyone look nervous now. Let's see who looks the guiltiest. It is... Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Another victim. Another victim. Come on down. Come on down. It's too late to turn back. Too late to turn back. Come on over. What? I love you too. I love you too. Dr. Weil.
Hi. Nice to see you.
So, what's your first name?
Bryn.
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 It's all yours. Ask away.
Okay, so you know how it is after a long week of work, and you finally make it to Friday, and I want to go out for a couple drinks with my friends, and I always wake up on Saturday morning with the worst hangover. So my question for you is there a hangover cure? And if so, what is it? Because I need it.
Yeah,
now.
Now, first of all, I don't know how it is because I don't drink so much that I get hangovers. So that's the first rule. Secondly, you should drink a lot of water when you're drinking alcohol. That can help. The best cure for hangover is time. You know, as time goes on, your body metabolizes the alcohol and toxic byproducts.
That's a painful few hours, though.
Painful few hours. However, all right, here's a remedy you can try. There's some good research on prickly pear juice and prickly pear extract. This is the cactus, showing that if you consume some prickly pear juice several hours before you drink. Okay. And then they did it with people that drank 5 to 7 alcoholic drinks. There was significant reduction in nausea, in dryness of the throat, and the other uncomfortable hangover effects.
So
Great.
Friday afternoon, you're going to take this, sip it, see if I'm curious if you like it. In theory, you drink a couple glasses of this.
Well, that's good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Could you put alcohol in it?
Wow, did you?
Bad idea. Yes, that's all yours. Thank you very much. All right, I got time for one more question. Thank you. This is an interesting question for Dr. Weil about salt. Take a look. Here it is back here in the video.
So I started to use sea salt because I heard it was healthier. Should I be concerned because it doesn't have iodine? And do I need iodine? I have no idea what that is. And if so, where else can I find it?
So just get everyone up to speed about why iodine is so essential and what's changed.
It's an essential nutrient, vital for thyroid metabolism and for normal metabolism, protects the health of the skin, lots of other effects, and surprisingly, many people in this country, especially women, are iodine deficient. Now, in the 1920s, there used to be a great prevalence of goiter, which is a symptom of iodine. This is thyroid enlargement. And it was particularly prevalent in what was called the goiter belt, which is the, the interior of the country, away from the seacoast where people were not eating iodine-rich seafoods. So the government added iodine to table salt, and that eliminated a lot of this. But ordinary salts have a lot of other additives that make salt flow faster. So I myself, much prefer sea salt or kosher salt because it's additive free. I understand you can now get sea salt that has iodine added to it. So that's an option. But I prefer to get my iodine from food. And we have some good sources of iodine here. It's really all seafood. We have some sardines here, shrimp, shellfish are a good source, and dairy products are a good source. And if you want a supplemental source, kelp, the seaweed, is great. And you can get this, you can eat seaweeds in Japanese food like nori rolls, or you can get kelp as a supplement, as a powder or in capsule.
I love your encyclopedic wisdom, my friend Andy Weil. Thanks so much. Thanks. We'll be right back.
What's your biggest question for Dr. Oz?
What is the best way to start a vegetarian diet? I want to try it, but I feel like if I do it too fast, I'll get sick. Any ideas on how to transition?
Read Dr. Oz's answer and ask your own questions on droz.com. Next, you may enjoy a good burger or a juicy steak, but new research says red meat could increase your risk for cancer, and the reason may not be what you think. You don't have to give it up. Smarter ways to eat red meat without increasing your cancer risk is next.
Put a little love in your heart.
All month long, the ultimate guide to heart health.
The power to save your heart is in your hands.
All this February on the Dr. Oz Show.
There are new cancer warnings about red meat making headlines. And let's face it, when you see things like this, you're thinking, oh, great, fantastic. Another food on the no-no list. So today, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you how you can still enjoy red meat without increasing your cancer risk. We're going to start with Arlene, who grew up eating meat and potatoes and cooks it for her family. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Oz. So great to meet you. Can I hug you?
Of course you can.
Dr. Oz!
So you see these headlines,
Yes.
some of them pretty scary, saying that cancer is linked to meat consumption. What goes through your mind?
It is scary because every week there seems to be something new to worry about, and red meat is definitely a part of our diet, and we enjoy it, so it would be hard to just keep cutting things out as these warnings come out. So we're always looking for
Have you changed how you pick the meat that you eat?
Over the last year I have, because we follow the paleo approach mostly at home, so we've been trying to buy grass-fed beef, or the hormone and antibiotic free when I can afford it, just to feel like we're eating a little more nutrient dense and a little healthier beef.
Now, I used to always think that was the sensible thing to do, but this research is pretty provocative. It's arguing that it doesn't matter how the red meat is prepared, what it eats, how clean it is. It's actually bigger than that, because for years we thought it was either about the amount of fat in the meat or the way it was cooked. One or the other was somehow messing us up.
Yes.
And I was trained to believe that. But what the study's arguing, it's not about that at all. It's about this, sugar. When you take sugar, and these sugars are found in these animal proteins, they actually do something that messes us up. It actually might be more important than the fat content or how you cook it. And that's not something that we've been addressing until now.
Not at all. Yeah, I thought the way we cooked it was really a big part of it with the high heat and the temperatures.
It's part of the story, but let me be clear about the sugar because it might give us clues about the other things. Here's a little example of how you might think about this. Researchers looked at red meat in a lab with mice. And they looked at the meat and they said, okay, what happens when the meat who's in there starts getting digested? What happens, it gets broken down into a foreign sugar, not what our body recognizes. But this foreign sugar gets incorporated into our cells as though it was us. But our immune system is really smart. Our immune system says, wait a minute, this is not us, it's a foreign invader, and it rushes in there and attacks, causing inflammation, which irritates our cells, and because of that inflammation, it seems to increase the lifetime risk of cancer. Which is, again, a different way of thinking about it.
Right, the connection between the inflammation, which they're finding so many causes.
Which, to me, brings the story a bit more into focus. Now, researchers agree this is not, we don't think the ultimate cause of cancer, the sugar, but it might be like pouring gasoline on a fire. You might already be at risk for cancer, and over the course of your life, you might make it a bigger of a problem because of this. Right. So what are we going to do? How would your family react if you came home and said, kids, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 sons.
3 sons and a husband. 4 men.
Four men.
So how would your family react if you came home and said, no more meat, kids?
They would not react well. No. We like, the tacos, and we make a lot of cheeseburgers and steaks. So my youngest son, that would be not able to do in our house.
I don't think most people in America are going to do that, and you don't have to do that. I've got a plan that I think makes sense, that deals with these concerns, but makes it all fine for us. You don't have to give up the red meat completely. I don't want you eating it every day either.
Right.
But it's a rich source of iron, and we're going to do it. You have to eat the right amount. There are smart ways of choosing the meats. So I want you to do me a favor.
All right.
I want you to take this knife. Now, meat's not going to be the main course of our meals. It shouldn't be anyway. It should be on the side. We should have mostly other things around it. Give me a 3-ounce portion of meat. How much do you think that is?
Well, I know the piece I'd like to eat is this whole thing. And I know a fist is about 4 ounces. So maybe I'll say this is 3 ounces.
So a deck of cards
Okay.
is about 3 ounces. It's a little smaller than a palm.
Okay.
And you actually did a very admirable job. It's about
pretty
3
close.
ounces. You can do the same thing for meat, for example, that's been ground, right? You make your burgers here. You
Yes.
can pick up in these fajitas. You can maybe make, 4 of those little strips of fajitas would make about 3 ounces. Now, interestingly, this is all beef. That's lamb.
Okay.
Lamb doesn't have as much of that sugar in there, that foreign sugar. So for that reason, you can get away with 4 ounces. Now, even more interestingly, poultry doesn't have it at all. So you could actually have a lot more pork and poultry than you desire because it doesn't have that same sugar risk in there.
Interesting.
Now, that's the first issue of meat. The second issue is how you prepare the meat. You brought this up earlier. Now, does your family drink beer?
They do. Well, my husband likes a stout once in a while, and my other son does gluten-free beer.
He does.
And the other son likes a light beer sometimes, like with the lime. It's fun in the summer.
So you know that we're supposed to marinate our meats in order to prevent the charring that leads to cancers. So I want you to start marinating your meat in beer.
Ooh, they're gonna like that.
You're gonna like that, won't they? And I want it to be dark beer.
Okay, that's
because dark
perfect.
beer actually has more antioxidants in it. All right, so go ahead and pour that in there.
Okay, just right from here.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink that beer. Just
Okay,
pour
yeah,
this
that's really the whole thing.
Your whole thing in there. Well, let me save me a little bit. Let
All
me
right,
taste
see if you.
Ah, it's so good.
Yeah, the dark beer.
But you taste this.
Okay.
That's take your usual marinade, add a little bit of dark beer to it,
All
and
right.
I hope you like the taste. But you can make meat that's not charred, but incredibly. Isn't it great?
That's delicious. They always want me to marinate, but I feel like I never have a great recipe for it. So this would be really
I'll put this
nice.
recipe on droz.com.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's great.
The final little tip is an important one. You always want to eat green with meat. The greens are like scrub brushes. They'll clean off the insides of you and let the digestive debris flow through. So general rule of thumb, there should be more green than red on your plate.
Well, we do try to do that. That looks like my typical lunch.
That could be a paleo meal.
Yeah, that looks delicious. So, but it may be a little less meat than I usually would eat. But so I will try to watch
want
that.
the meat?
I like the meat, but with
If
the
you nudge them
vegetables.
down a little bit, they'll be happy. Thank you for being
I will.
here.
Thank
We'll be right
you so
back.
much.
Next, could you have heart disease and not even know it? A simple groundbreaking blood test can now help you determine if you need to be treated. An early warning system to let you know what's really going on. The heart test that could save your life. Coming up next.
Could you have heart disease and not even know it? Until now, we had to guess your risk by looking at factors like your weight, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, all these things we'd have you guys do. But what if we could look inside your arteries to determine if you have heart disease right now? Now, some of you may not need the medications that you're taking if we could look inside and tell for sure that you're okay. And others who never suspected that they had a problem might actually need a prescription if we could actually look inside those arteries. Well, there's a groundbreaking blood test that can now help determine who needs to be treated and how needs to be treated more aggressively. This heart test that can save your life is called the Plaque. The Plaque. And let me show you why it's so important. Let's say we go deep into your chest and look on the heart. There are these little blood vessels that feed nutrients to the heart, but inside there's often plaques. Now, sometimes you have a plaque and it's like this, a big, thick rind, a capsule. It's very safe, not inflamed, not irritated. The plaque test looks at this rind and tells me if it's normal like this, or is it thinned out because you have a big, inflamed, raging war going on. It's so thin, in fact, that the plaque, this yellow stuff, ruptures. See a little crack there? And when that crack happens, the body wants to heal the hole, so it puts a blood clot on it, and then it gets larger and larger, so it blocks off the blood vessel, causing this, which is what a heart attack looks like. Now listen, this would not normally be picked up by a cholesterol test or blood pressure measurements or even getting on a scale. We're only guessing what's going on with those. If I could actually see that plaque or gauge that plaque and tell what's going on, it would help. That doesn't mean that those risk factors aren't important. Of course I want to know your blood pressure and your cholesterol, but they're only hints of what's going on inside. That's why this is a true game changer, and guess what? It's just a simple blood test. So before the show, I had my test done along with a group of women who say they have no major risk factors for heart disease. And see how brave I am? I'm going first, very chivalrous of me, and the women are laughing at me, but guess what happens next? Once I get my Band-Aid on and the pain stops, I had to hold down some of these brave women. because they weren't as brave as I had hoped. I actually had them looking away, block their view, joke with them, cajole them. I was a poet. They were crying. But at the end, we were all happy as we showed off our minor wounds. Think about it, a blood test that could tell us whether we really have a significant risk of having one of those heart attacks or even a stroke. So, you all have your test results. I want you to just look daintily at your own. You don't have to share with anybody else. We've got all of you, the whole front row got tested, and we're gonna then start sharing results. So, I'll all go together and I'm gonna share mine. Is that okay? And mine is, oh, thank goodness, I'm normal, right? This is one of the only things I'm normal in. But all this means is that my artery, if I do have plaque, has that thick rind. It's not as risk of having a problem. And therefore, if I had a risk factor, my doctor wouldn't have to treat me as aggressively. So let's talk about the plaque test results for the rest of you. So are you okay showing it with everybody? All right, so let's have everyone just take your scores and just show it to the camera out here. And let me just go through here. So we've got a little bit of each. So we have normal, normal. You guys are okay with that? You're all normals?
I'm normal.
Normal.
I'm normal,
Okay.
thank God.
So again, it just means that there's not inflammation of the kind that we worry about with heart attacks. That's great. But for some folks, there's more of a wake-up call here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it with the three of you. Yeah, three of you have a little signs of inflammation. So I want to explain what those numbers mean and answer any questions you may have. First of all, if I can, Renee, I'll start with you. You look pretty young. How old are you, if I can ask?
I'm 29.
29. Are you surprised that you had signs of inflammation on this test?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no other word to describe it other than scary. Yeah.
Had you ever heard of the test before?
No.
And Shari, you know, I don't know if you have any other risk factors. None.
No.
So does this change your priorities a little bit?
Yeah, I need to be more aggressive because I think I'd been doing a pretty good job up until I got these numbers.
Well, don't throw a towel in yet here. This is just it's a test that's a clue to us. Look, these tests, I know we get scared by them, but they're our allies. Because you guys haven't had heart attacks, right?
Correct.
Whereas all we're finding out is that you're a little bit more at risk. And so now we can begin to do things aggressively to address that.
I have a question.
Please.
I am 42 years old, and I like to know, can I turn back time in my heart now?
You can absolutely turn back time. Part of the reasons I went into heart surgery is because it's one of the best examples of how we can do that. I show that little animation. You see how little crack happened and then the blood clot formed? That doesn't have to happen at all. We used to think, well, once you have the plaque, you're going to have the crack, you're going to have the blood clot, you're going to have the heart attack. No, not at all. There's nothing written in the sands of destiny telling us what's going to happen to you. You get to change your body. You get a do-over if you want.
Great.
That's why I love this, because it's like if palm reader said, you know what, your lifeline looks a little shorter than it could be, but I can just fix it right there and adjust it, which is where the power of these tests come from. They're an early warning system to tell us that things are happening out there.
Considering, actually, Dr. Oz, I live a pretty healthy, physical, try to stay as organic as I can lifestyle. I can't help but wonder, is this possibly genetic? Is it hereditary?
Can I ask you about your family a little bit?
Sure.
So are your parents still alive?
Yep.
Have they had heart problems or strokes or blood vessel blockages?
Not yet, knock on wood. So
How old are they?
they are in their mid to late 50s.
And how about your grandparents?
My grandfathers both have had heart disease, and my grandmother has had a heart attack as well.
You want to save some lives today? Get your parents tested.
Okay.
So this is the kind of test that stops guessing and actually tells us what's going to happen a little bit more predictably. We don't know for sure.
Right.
And that's a worthwhile investment of time, as opposed to someone who looks pretty good, feels pretty good, doesn't have any evidence of a problem, and then we want to throw medications at them,
Right.
which is not what we want to do.
Dr. Oz.
Yeah, Shari.
I've always had really good cholesterol numbers. I've had to discuss with my husband that he should do things to bring his risk down, and now today I find out that I have a higher number. Could it have anything to do with the age bracket that I'm in?
Age plays a role. When your hormones start to change, listen, young men have what's called testosterone poisoning. You've heard of that, right? Mm-hmm. We're poisoned by our testosterone. It actually hurts our hearts in many ways because it changes our hormones and our cholesterol numbers. When women go through menopause, on average, the cholesterol goes up, let's say 10% roughly, but your chance of having a heart attack goes up about 3 times. So it's a lot more. So when the hormones shift, we need to reassess whether or not we're okay or not. We need to double check to make sure that we don't have major problems. This is a good way for you to maybe start that process. And maybe, although normally I wouldn't think of putting someone on a medication, maybe it's worth the investment, or maybe lifestyle will do it by itself, which is even better if we can do that. I want to have you all feel empowered by this test, because a lot of times, as you guys were, you actually should feel much more comfortable not being treated. And you guys should be more attentive to how you're treating yourself and how other people are going to treat you. All right? I hope this is helpful.
Yeah,
Thanks for.
I'm pissed.
You're pissed.
I am scared.
Well, you know what?
It's scary.
This is something we can do together.
Okay.
And I know that
Okay.
I know it's scary, and that's why people don't get tested. But when you bury your head in the sand, you're ignoring the reality, even though it's out there.
Right.
But this test is going to give you the power to control what's going to happen to you.
Okay.
All right. To learn more about the plaque test and ways to keep your heart healthy, you can go to droz.com. We'll be right back. I'm going to fix her.
Now that you know what the heart attack symptoms are for women, will you do anything differently?
It made me aware of what to look out for. I had no idea what the signs were, but now I'll keep a printout of symptoms in my wallet at all times. Could save my life.
Share your story on Dr. Oz's Facebook page. Coming up, a case of bad hair can really ruin your day. From white flakes to brittle ends, we're combing through your battle of hair emergencies. Simple solutions to treat your most common hair problems. Dr. Oz's Hair ER is next. This February on the Dr. Oz Show.
Heart disease. You have the power to beat it. Put a little love in your heart.
All month long, the ultimate guide to heart health.
The power to save your heart is in your hands.
All this February on Oz.
Today I'm opening the doors to my hair ER for those everyday follicular emergencies that can ruin your day. I've asked one of my favorite hair specialists to be my chief. It's Nikki Walton. She's known as Curly Nikki, and she's joining us. Now we have prepped for anything and everything because you never know. We got all the things here, but you know, when you're in an ER, emergencies happen. So you got it all stocked up. Are you ready to go?
Yes, let's do this.
Any challenge?
Any
Maybe.
challenge.
All right.
Any
Let's
challenge.
see. Who's going to be the first case? Who's got a hair emergency right now? Hands up. Let's see. You. Congratulations. Come on down. with
Hi.
us. What's your first name?
My name's Kelly.
Kelly. All right. You may come into the emergency room here. Have a seat over here.
Sure.
I'll drape you up.
Oh, thank you.
You're going to like this. There we are.
I'm gonna love this.
Oh, there. Okay. So describe what's going on.
Well, I am a recovery room nurse.
You're a nurse.
Yes, I am.
How ironic.
My hair has to be up. My hair is greasy, but at the bottom it's dry and it knots. Please help me.
Yes. So it sounds like you have overactive sebaceous glands.
Okay.
Your scalp is like
out of control.
Exactly. You have a lot of natural oils, which are good. Usually the natural oils should travel down the length to the ends to moisturize them, but maybe your hair is just like, no, let's make things a little bit more difficult. So I'm gonna get all my stuff here.
Okay.
Walk me through what you're getting over there.
All right, I'm getting some cornstarch. This is a secret, I'll explain. And I need my wooden bristle brush. Thank you, Dr.
I'm good with
Oz.
brushes.
This is more cornstarch. My dry shampoo. And
It's like shopping.
I think we're good. And yeah, an ouchless band. I think we're good. Oh wait, and this here. Do you know what this is?
The toilet seat. What are you going to do? That's in the wrong segment.
So this one,
It's a whole different story. Here, can you just stand up for 1 second and put this under you? Just in case.
No.
Or just in case. What else are you going to do with this thing?
So, okay, when you are out and about, like at the hospital or wherever you're working, and you don't have any way to take care of the oil situation, the greasiness factor, you can take one of these and blot your situation, and it will absorb the oil just like the expensive ones that you can get from the drugstore do. The ones that are for your face are expensive. The ones for your butt are apparently very cheap and easy to get.
And what do you tell your friends you're doing when you're putting this?
Hopefully they're not with me.
There's more ways to absorb oil too. So,
Oh, yeah,
I know, have
look
you
at that.
heard of
Got
dry
all the
shampoo?
oil off
I
there.
have. Cornstarch does exactly the same thing, and it's all natural. You just sprinkle some in your hair, and then you brush it out.
Should I keep going?
Since our hair, yes, you can keep going. Since our hair is dark, you could actually mix in a little bit of unsweetened cocoa powder to give it a little bit of color, so that it matches your actual color.
This is awesome.
That is a lot, Dr. Oz.
You told me. That's why I asked. You're the doctor.
Bend your head over.
It's your ER.
Good grief.
I'm just trying to help you.
Oh dear, Dr. Oz. Oh, that's good. More of that.
It's much better.
We need some assistance.
It looks like we aged you a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay.
so sorry about that, but it's awesome.
We will fix it up after the segment. Thanks very much for your patience. You're wonderful to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm here. All right, so and at one point, everyone has had a hair emergency that looks like this. These are brittle ends. Who here has struggled with brittle ends in the audience? We've got a whole bevy of them over here. You, Nikki, take it away. I want you to pick someone's hair that you can help.
Here, let me check this out. So, your hair is dry, but I don't know.
Super dry.
Is it breaking?
Yeah, this breaking at the ends there.
Okay. Well, how about you?
I need your help.
You need your help. And how about you? What's going on here?
Yeah, I definitely have split ends. I like to keep my hair straight, so I use my hair straightener and blow dryer on almost a daily basis.
Lots of heat styling.
Yeah,
okay,
so it really damages the
So
bottoms
pick
of
one
my
victim
hair.
we can work on.
You're using a lot of heat.
Yes.
You're gonna have the most damage. So
Come on
you
up.
come on down. I want you to come down too because I want to talk about dryness.
All right, so let's get you seated over here. Why don't you come on my side? There's more room over here. All right, so Nikki, walk us through what's going to happen.
Yes, so when you're looking at hair damage, what happens is our overzealous heat styling, excessive washing and drying, not using proper moisturizing. These are the things that wear away at our hair's structure, and it leaves us prone to brittleness and damage and sometimes breakage and splits. So my recommendation for someone that's dealing with just dryness, where it has not gotten all the way to the breakage point, would be to do a deep conditioning treatment with oils and honey and conditioner.
Making a salad here.
Yes, I know, all natural things. So this is what you do. Oh, let me get a bowl too. So you grab your favorite conditioner. I like all natural conditioners with awesome ingredients, delicious ingredients. You'll add a little bit to your bowl. Then you will add a little jojoba oil, which all you really need is a tablespoon. It is the oil that most mimics your own sebum, your natural hair oil. So this will help with hair elasticity. And then you'll add about a tablespoon of honey also, which will help with moisture. Mix that up, apply it to your hair in small sections so that you have even coverage. And then you'll put on this sexy plastic bag.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yes. And then this wool hat over it. That way you can really warm things up on your head, which will open up the cuticle and allow the conditioner
You're making
to
this
penetrate.
up. There's no way.
No,
No one's
this
going to
is
walk
real.
around with this hat on with this.
Well, all you need to do is 30 minutes at least. Some people leave it in longer, 30 minutes. You can walk around the house. You can do some cardio, kill two birds with one stone, but you want to heat things up a bit so that it can really penetrate. Then get in the shower, rinse, condition, do your whole business, and this will help prevent the breakage. But if you're already seeing breakage like you and these splits and these white dots on the end, there's like white dots on every end, Dr.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You have to cut.
I'll be your assistant.
Thank you. You can twist your hair like this, just a small section, and if you look here, look.
Yes,
you
you
see?
see it.
You can see the parts that are split. They stick right up. Can you see, Dr. Oz?
Yeah, I see him. I see him.
They're frayed. So when you see them sticking up, you just take your scissors and you cut right above the damage. That's it.
Just the ones that are frayed.
Just the ones that are frayed. This helps you keep your length and it makes your detangling easier. Your hair looks better and healthier. I do this all the time and it keeps my ends on point.
Here, give me scissors. I'll help you. In the meantime, everybody will be right back.
Next, she's on a mission in remission, urging women to do more than just getting a mammogram. Find out how this Dr. Oz superfan and breast cancer survivor battled her belly fat and lost 35 pounds. What she learned from watching Dr. Oz is next.
We are bringing healthy back this season and want you to bring it too. Grab your prescription pad for fun and sign up for free tickets today. You can go to droz.com/tickets and sign up. Did I get it right? I love how many of you have solved your biggest health problems with advice you've learned on the show. And I'm even prouder of how good you are at passing along your wisdom. So for the next month, I'm actually going to hand the show over to you, my army of health heroes and superfans. You are Oz Nation. Now, how can you tell if you're really Oz Nation? Well, you know you're Oz Nation if you were eating kale before kale was cool. You all in there? Yes, lots of kale eaters. If you have a PhD in poop, then you're Oz Nation. If your friends and family members frequently say, let me guess, you heard it on Dr. Oz. You heard that. If people are telling that to you, then you remember the Oz Nation. The first member who's joining us today recently sent me an exciting email.
Dear Dr. Oz, I watch your show and take tons of notes. I have piles of notebooks, but there's one particular show I'm writing you about. On this show, you talked about breast cancer and being overweight.
There are risk factors for breast cancer. Are you overweight? These are things you can adjust, right? You can change your weight.
At the time, I was at least 50 pounds overweight. I had tears in my eyes because breast cancer runs in my family. My sister had a lump removed, my aunt was diagnosed, then my mom, then finally me. After my surgery, I knew I had to show up in my own life. My doctors told me if I did not lose weight, my odds of surviving would go down a lot. So I set a goal of 100 days to change my life. I pulled out my notebook and I got to work. I followed your suggestions to lose weight, and I'm happy to say I lost 35 pounds. I went from a size 12 to a size 6. Now I tell everyone who will listen what to do, what to eat to change their lives too. I've even inspired my daughter and my husband to eat healthy. When I combine your suggestions and change the way I looked at weight loss, I lost the weight.
Natalie, come on out. You are here.
Oh, thank you, Dr.
So happy, family.
Thank you so much.
So when people have transformations, they usually have an aha moment when it just clicks.
Okay.
What was yours?
Well, you know, I had an opportunity to see a segment that you did right before my surgery. I was shocked. Your correlation between breast cancer and obesity, and I was overweight. I'm getting ready to go and have a lumpectomy, and I was terrified.
You know, most women, who, especially if they've been afflicted with breast cancer, talk about mammography, which is a part of the solution, but you have a very different message.
Well, you know, I started my own organization because I wanted to expand the message. I think it's awesome, and I will never say don't get a mammogram. But we have to help women to show up in their own lives. And I'm always encouraging women, you need to lose weight. You need to make that connection between weight loss and breast cancer. And so that is our message, and I am happy because I get to use your message all the time. And yes, I'm one of those, when you said there are 3 things, yes, Dr. Oz said. So everywhere I go, every church, every speaking engagement, I start out with Dr. Oz said.
So you're on a mission in remission.
Yes, I am.
I love it.
Yes,
right?
I am.
And you know, you're right, just to be clear about this, if you lose 5 or 10 pounds, especially after menopause, you know, reduction of breast cancer is probably by 20%. It's not about detecting it, It's about preventing it. Okay, I'm giving you the show, it's all yours.
Okay.
Walk on over here. Okay. I want you to own this. Tell us how you lost 35 pounds in order to make sure that your risk of breast cancer was as low as it possibly could be.
Okay, well, you know, the first thing I believe, you shared something with me. I say with me because I kind of think I have my own little personal Dr. Oz at home.
You know, that's how I think about
it, too.
Yes, I do. Right at you.
Okay, so I use a smoothie every day. I use the kale and the spinach. And what I had to do is I had to use more fruit because you want to make it something you're going to drink. Right. And although we don't have the protein up here, you need the protein in your
You add that
smoothie.
to your green drink?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good for you.
Every day.
And the kale is not an everyday thing for you, right?
You know, you talked about the dark side of kale. Am I not a Dr. Oz fan?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
I am very, very impressed. Now I'm impressed.
Okay. Well, what I do is I will do the kale 3 days a week. And I'll do the spinach. But sometimes when I'm getting a little frisky, I may do the mixed greens, right. And I'll do that.
Just to bring everybody else up on the same page, so the kale issue, sometimes it slows down your thyroid a little bit. So I'd rather you have it 3 days a week, every other day pretty much. Okay. Middle of the day, you use an appetite suppressor. You can't lose 35 pounds without something to help, and you swear by strawberry water.
Dr. Oz, this was a part of your diet last year.
Yes.
But I'm getting ready to give a secret. No one knows this.
Oh.
Okay?
Well, I like this.
Okay.
I love secrets.
I need you to know.
Nothing gets women to listen more than a secret.
Green tea. That is my base.
You add it to the strawberry?
To the strawberry water. That's what I make it with.
Oh, it's really good.
Exactly.
Yeah, it mixes it up a bit.
You know, when you talked about how important it is to have green tea, why not just make it a part of something you're going to use anyway?
Why didn't I think of that?
And I absolutely love it. I love it. So I'm
It's very
using
good.
yours. Yes. And then in the cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon helps with the blood sugar.
Exactly. And when I tell you, my family, they never know it. My husband, when I put him on all of this, he went from needing blood pressure medication to completely off.
You really are Oz Nation. Give her a hand. Listen, as a member of Oz Nation, I want to hear your inspiring health stories. So share them with me on my Facebook page, Facebook.com/Dr. Oz. Be right back.
This February on the Dr. Oz Show.
Heart disease. You have the power to beat it. Put a little love in your heart.
All month long, the ultimate guide to heart health. Feel young and energetic. Be there for your family. Stay active for your kids.
You control your health. You control your destiny. The power to save your heart is in your hands.
All this February on the Dr. Oz Show.
And now, please join me for our very first edition of Dr. Oz's Wackiest Health Words. I'm going to ask a word. All you got to do is figure out what it really means. It's a little more difficult than you might think. First word is fartlek. Fartlek. Is it A, an athletic training regimen, or a rectal exam? What do you guys think? A. How do you know it's not B? Oh, you're too smart. It's right, it's A. It's an athletic regimen. Okay, next up, wabbit. Is wabbit excess abdominal fat, or is it being exhausted? They all say it's A. Wrong. It's B. It's B. Wabbit. I feel like I am wabbited, I guess, if you're really exhausted. Now here's the final exam. Are you ready? Crapulence. Is it A, discomfort from eating too much, or unwanted body hair? Thoughts? Yes, crapulence. You're very smart. It is A. All right. That wasn't only fun, but a brand new study shows a rich vocabulary may protect against dementia. So learn words like that. Use them in cocktail party conversation to impress your friends and your enemies. Okay, now it's time for In Case You Missed It. First, there's important new information out there about how to enjoy red meat without increasing your cancer risk. You can try this. Pretty simple. Marinate your meat in beer. The guys are going to love this. It's been shown to decrease levels of cancer-causing compounds up to 53%. Dark beers work the best. They have more antioxidants in them. Next, I've been in a lot of emergency rooms in my life, but today I had my first hair ER. And one of the big cases we tackled, authentically came from the audience, was greasy hair. Plenty of women wanted to participate. So we used cornstarch in one woman, a nurse actually, and in a pinch, she and others like you could try taking a little bit of this cornstarch, put it on your hair, and then take the toilet seat covers. It actually works as wonderful blotting paper, so if you're really in a bind, go ahead and use it. Just do it in private. Finally, be careful of dubious people online that make it seem like I'm endorsing their products, because I don't. To see a full list of our trusted sponsors and partners, go to DrOz.com. Hey, and Oz Nation members, remember to tell your friends what you learned today. And I'll see you next time.